Good afternoon. My name is Dustin Taylor. This is Divinity Virtue. So I actually haven't posted a video in I don't know, week, maybe 2 weeks. It's been kind of interesting, and it's probably for the better because I really only try to post videos if stuff has happened in my life or if I think there's a learning experience or something that I could help people out with and whatnot. But I just, it's been very interesting few weeks. So this video is being recorded a few days after Valentine's Day. So I hope everyone had a good Valentine's Day. And it was interesting because me and my mom, we don't really talk a lot. I think we just got two different types of personalities where we clash a lot more. It takes a lot more willpower and control to not, because we have different thoughts. Okay, just we believe different things, or we see life a little bit different. So, and that's how life is. Everyone's not going to see everything through the same eyes or whatnot. But so she wishes me a happy Valentine's Day, which was really nice of her, actually. So I really appreciated that. So I messaged her back and I said like Happy Valentine's Day, etc., etc. And it ended up we talked for 4 or 5 hours, which is crazy. I haven't talked to her in 6 months. But I was telling her everything that was. Sorry about this. It's cold out right now, and my nose is running. But I was telling her about my idea and whatnot, and I said, like I have all these connections from Africa that are starting to pick up. And when I say pick up, the one guy, so he's been talking to his mom back and forth, and in the one area of Ghana where he's from, there's a chief that is willing to even give me free land just to help their people learn a trade, a skill, something just to get them forward. So they're a second-hand or a second world country. The education is not fully there, the infrastructure is not fully there. So they might be 100, 150 years behind Canada. But it's interesting because in a spiritual awakening, you're supposed to follow your heart and essentially go wherever your soul tells you to go. You just don't worry. You just say, you know what, like this is life. And it's a harder road. It really is because I've thought about this. That if I went through the spiritual awakening and I know I'm close to being on to the next stage, whatever that brings, but I had to go through everything and I still have to finish my soul contract that I believe everyone has a soul contract. Okay, so that's really where I come down from this logic is that everything's planned out. And if you don't do it right the first time, you're going to be stuck in that same cycle until you learn the right way of doing it or handling the situation the right way. The situation may appear a few more times, but once you know how to handle it, it rolls off a lot easier. It's just learning the life lessons. So I don't even know where that rant took me. Sorry about that. Anyways, let's just go back to like Valentine's Day. So I okay, yeah. So I was the Africa thing. And she goes, "Why Africa?" So I tell her, I said, "I can get land. I can get all the resources. If I do this right, I might be able to change not the world, but just a little bit of my legacy." Right? So like the two questions that you need to ask yourself is who are you as a person? Okay? So I'm obviously a bald person and I wear the cowboy hats and everything for aesthetics. I think they look good on me, so that's why I wear them. But typically who I am as a person, I want to show. I used to do a lot of things just for self gratification, bravado, to show people like, hey, I'm better than you. I've done this, or I've done this, or I've seen this. Good times, okay? But don't get me wrong. And I think that might be like the fake ego in me because it's not that I've done. Okay, I probably have. I've probably done 10 lifetimes in almost 40 years. So like I've done a lot in my life, but it doesn't really ever. It didn't get me ahead, right? Like I didn't know how to really focus or control my thought processes on the steps to move forward. And so the one guy, I he takes me, he introduces me to this another person from Uganda, I believe. And I was telling her about my idea and everything. And she goes, "Oh man, I love your idea." She goes, "You come to Africa, I'm going to show you everything." She goes, "But you need some good connections or else you'll get your head chopped off." She wasn't lying because when I asked my buddy, he goes, "Oh yeah, machetes. Like if you treat anyone bad there, we'll just come up with a bunch of machetes and well, there you go." So I told my mom, and she goes, "It is the most dangerous place I've ever visited in my entire life. Why are you going there?" And I just said, "Why not? God anointed me. I'm safe. My hands are clean. I have no addictions. I treat everyone really good. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what race you are. I don't care what your religion is. I don't care. Honestly, treat me good. I'll treat you good. That's how life should be. Bring people up, right?" So between three people, I have one telling me there's a lot of dangerous animals that could kill you. Another one telling me that if you treat anyone bad, you'll get your head chopped off. And the third person, my mom saying it's the most dangerous place she's ever been. I can't wait to go. Honestly, like, what do I care? At the end of the day, if death is the main fear on anything, then don't fear, right? Like, it just means like that's the end. So it, I don't know. It's kind of weird because even my buddy, he goes, "You white people seriously do a lot of crazy ass shit." He goes, "We don't go hang out in the jungle just to see stuff in the jungle." He goes, "We're smarter than that." He goes, "We go to a house, school, work, home." He goes, "We don't do any of you crazy white person stuff." But it was also funny just talking to him. I was like, because we don't really care on race or whatnot. But I was like, "Hey, how many people of like not your color are you friends with?" And he goes, "Just you." And I was like, "Why is that?" He goes, "This city is the most racist city ever." I said, "Yep, it is the most racist city ever. It's so segregated that you watch all these people and they all find who like someone close to their country and they all just stick in that path." And maybe that's the comfort, right? Knowing what you're comfortable with, you'll stick with that. Maybe that's the reality of life, right? Because people are, I don't know how many people are willing to do what I'm doing because I think, I'm going to focus on this consulting. I just applied for a government grant today for $2,000. So I won't find out for probably 2 to 6 weeks. I don't know how long that'll be. But if they say yes, that means that my corporate license, and I'm doing this as a small corporation to start out, will be completely paid for. And that means I would literally be starting up probably by end of April, May, which means I'm also doing my cut at that time. So I'm about 20 pounds away from a six pack. And when I say 20 pounds, that's your entire body because your body has to lose the fat everywhere first before it comes to the stomach. And I'm even starting to see like my plateaus are about every 3 days. And when you look at my stomach, it's weird because now it's starting to like come in. So it's like starting, I got a big ball right on the belly button, but the side ab lines. So I can start seeing where my abs are and the lines, if that makes sense. But it's weird watching your body because I've never been skinny. So I've never known what I would look like skinny or at a healthy weight. I've always had weight, big face, everything else. So when you start seeing your muscles and your body start like coming back to what a body should look like, it's a very interesting um, combination. So like my legs, I can tell you my legs are chiseled. The one guy at the gym comes up to me and he goes, "You got the nicest calves in this entire gym." I was like, I don't really know where to go with this. thank you, because that's probably the weirdest, best compliment I've ever gotten. So I got the nicest calves in the gym. And it's funny because they always, like, I got lots of people who come through me. They'll come and talk to me and whatnot. Sometimes I'll have to tell them, like, yo, you gotta leave me. Like, I'm here for 2.5 hours. I'd love to talk to you, but like, I'm doing this to show people it's not easy to get a six pack. 2.5 hours every day. And I've been doing this for 3 years now. My diet's clean, no alcohol. I've given up on almost everything. And when I'm going to show you guys in April just where my stomach's at for the last 8 weeks to see how far I can actually cut down legit to see if I can have hot guy summer. That's really it. It's for the ego. You can't take away how many hours I've put in that gym, how well my eating is, it's just my mentality. And I keep telling people, and I go, like, I'm not for everyone. And a lot of my friends have even said that to me. They go, you have such high expectations of yourself that you expect it out of us. And it makes it kind of tough to be your friend. And I said, I never really thought of it that way because people are right. Like, I shouldn't have any expectations on how others act, perform, or do in life. I guess if they're my friends, I should respect them for who they are, what they bring to the friendship, and just don't cross any boundaries if I don't agree to whatever they may or may not partake in, right? So maybe, so that's on me. I got a lot of things to learn, and that's fine. Yeah, so it is what it is. But I actually haven't even gone out for a while. I went out a couple of weeks ago. Might go out tonight, might go out tomorrow. Who knows? I just think that I've really learned to limit my noise. And even though my one buddy from Africa, we have a pretty good idea, I think, where we would go. But I told him, I said, here's the deal, man. You're trying to pull this gun as fast as you can. I used to do that. Try to get everything now, 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 now. He goes, well, I want to be retired by 35. That's 5 years. And I said, okay, here's the deal. I said, if we do this legitimately, you're not going to be retired by 35. I said, I can probably get you retired by 50, 20 years. Okay. But I also said, if we do this right, not only are you retired for 20 years, you're setting up one of the biggest legacies for your family, your future family. And isn't that the goal, is just to build up something so strong that can withstand time, makes it so that your family has a better opportunity to move forward, enjoy the finer things in life, not live in a basement suite, you know, travel the world, meet people, enjoy different cultures, different cuisines, different experiences. That's what world's about. That's what life is about. So we'll see what happens. But you know, I I just know that, like, right now, I messaged my mom and I said, hey, like, if you can help me figure out how to just set everything up so that it's organized, a final project completion, stuff like that, I'd really appreciate it. She goes, yeah, I'll make a trip up to Lethbridge for you and I'll help you out, which is really good because once that's done, it's done. That's my bread and butter to move forward. And the worst part is I do have a feeling that I'm not going to, it's not that I'm going to take over the world. I just have this feeling that being a consultant, there's a lot of consultants coming out now, and that's what I'm seeing. So everyone's got their own little niche, their own little different personas, different identifications, stuff like that. And I think with me, I'm going to get the consulting going. I'm going to get the corporation going. That's going to be my safety net for the rest of my life. And the reason I'm saying that is because if I can make, I don't even know, $1,500 to $2,000 a month, I'm not living like a king, but I don't spend more than that. I don't need to buy stuff. I'm good, right? So I live fairly within my means of life. So the bread and butter is getting the consulting going, make sure I have a pipeline. of customers so that I can always have some kind of income coming in. My buddy's idea, he wants to either start up a farm or a resort or this or that. I said, there's a lot of options in your head, but I need you to narrow it down. And I said, once you narrow it down, there's still going to be 1,000 steps just in that one option. So he was talking about a farm, and I said, like, do you know what animals even eat? He goes, grass. And I'm like, well, sure, but what kind of grass? Or what's the water situation like? Or can these animals withstand African heat? Stuff like that. And I said, are there any animals in Africa that will eat the animals that you have on your land? He goes, oh yeah, everything. And I said, well, there you go. So you still got to build fences. You got to protection, this, that. There's a lot of work in his ideas. I told him, I said, it's not going to be an overnight thing, man. Even just to get your thing started, I said, I'll take off in January next year because I'm going to tell you the snow, the cold, I'm done. Being skinny, I will never go back to a heavier weight. It's just not worth it. Like, it's harder to walk, it's harder to breathe. You don't look as good in my mind, in my mind, in my mind. But I think I gotta stay skinny. I want to see what a six pack looks like. I've never been there, so I'm close. And oh yeah, that's another thing. I might only have 3 to 5 pounds of like fat and skin left on my stomach, and the rest is it. But you still have to get rid of every other fat on your body before you'll see the six pack. So it's not much. It's close. Probably do it within a month if I really wanted to. But I'm not going to force my body into that kind of situation. I don't know. It's just very. I get it because I also have one other connection, and if I can get him, and he builds condos and renovates and builds homes and stuff like that. And I said, if I can get him to come to Africa, I got a great opportunity where it's just it's a life changer. It really is. And I figure, even though a psychic and a medium have told me the ending of my life, on Valentine's Day, I sent a nice little heartfelt message to my best friend. She's in a point where she's going through a lot of depression. And she probably only talks to maybe one or two people, and it's not me. She doesn't talk to me at all anymore. She'll throw out the little like, "Hey baby," or like, "I miss you," or "Let's go on a date." But that's very here and there, and it's interesting because I know my cycles are starting to change. So in your spiritual awakening, it's like the dark shadow of the night, where like that's like the inner gangster mobster in me. That's that mentality. The angel and follow God mentality is the other mentality in me. So those are my two mentalities. And I gotta say, like as fun as this one mentality is, it's good. Like I can hold my own. I'm not too afraid of anything because if I'm meant to go, I'm meant to go. I'm just energy. I'm a spirit. Once it goes up, I'm gonna come back down as something else and on to some new lessons in life. That's what the game is. People don't understand it. When people have been reincarnated and they're like, I'm pretty sure I've experienced this before. Yeah, you probably have. This is life. We're a circle of events that whatever happens, happens. Another thing is the next 20 years, this is the dragon year of the dragon. So if the year of the dragon and astrologicalness line up, this is the year for all karma. Don't treat anyone bad. Make sure you do everything proper. Work the hardest you can do. Be the best you can be. Because I'm going to tell you right now, this is 20 years of good luck. And I'm starting to see my good luck happen. I'm starting to watch the path happen. And I don't think Africa was ever in one of my arcanas, which is interesting. So I don't know if this path is just coming out because of the spiritual awakening. Because let's be honest, if it's God, energy, spirits, whatever it is, the spiritual awakening, like I said, you're supposed to follow your heart. You're supposed to just go and just believe that everything's going to happen for a reason and it's supposed to happen. And if I go to Africa, win or lose, like that's a pretty amazing journey. I don't get me wrong. if I got a beautiful blonde that's going to be my wife, I'm probably gonna have to take care of her, and I probably know that the Africa might be a thing to get my life and money and business started, but then it's probably I'd have to move her somewhere a little bit safer, which is probably Australia. So I probably do see how the path of my life are going. So I don't know. I just don't really worry anymore. But it's just been a very interesting few weeks. I hope everyone had a good Valentine's Day. I hope everyone kind of just figures out that life is planned out. You don't really need to stress about things. Don't get me wrong. I know the ending of my life, and I've been told it, and I know I've said this in every video, but it's just a fact to me that if everything's planned out, and I know the ending, and a lot of people tell me, no, I don't want to know the ending because it takes away from the thrill of life, yada yada yada. It does. In a weird way, it really does. Because right now, I would love to have that my best friend just even if I just went to the mall, I would love to have just gone to the mall with her, just hang out with her, talk with her, whatever, in the comfort of her. But I know in a spiritual awakening, people won't talk to me, and it's fine because I told one of my other friends, and this was the girl that I know she could be a soulmate depending how our paths are going, but she's dating one of my friends, and I don't cross boundaries. That's not my thing whatsoever. Used to be my thing. That's another thing. That's probably why I'm going through a lot of like dating karmic hell. When I was younger, nobody wanted to like be boyfriend and girlfriend with me. Nobody. I just never had that opportunity. But then when I got to 18, oh, everyone who had a boyfriend, like, because I'm obviously into females, everyone who had a boyfriend somehow would have extracurricular fun with me, and then you know, then I have to deal with the guy, deal with my own ego of going, really? You couldn't just say no? You're that much hurting that you need to hurt someone else and their relationship for your own like gratification? Yeah, I did some pretty shitty things. So I know, I get it. So this time around when I'm back in the dating scene, I don't need to I don't play with emotions. I don't need to play with egos. None of that. I'm good. You know what? I told everyone what I want. I know that everyone is starting to figure me out, going, all right, he's probably the most truest, genuine person there is. And at the end of the day, I'm just going to keep doing this path. I'm eventually going to be debt free by June or July. If I get approved by that loan, I'm just saying that everything this year has brought me down to be a new version of myself. And if the new version of myself, and I've always said this, and this is the weirdest part, I have always said this. I have always said, I want to be a CEO of a company by 45. I always said I wanted to have a family by 45. I always wanted to say I wanted to have $1 million and a six pack and living on a beach by 45. I'm 39 right now. Everything is planning out that I'm going to be my own CEO because I'm going to create my own company, which I've also done my financials on, which is pretty crazy actually. I did that all yesterday. I got the presentation done, I got the questions done, starting on marketing, my website's done. Honestly, if you can start making sure that when you look at life, you focus on four things. This will change your entire world. Focus on your health, which means working out, doing some sort of activity every day. Every day. Eating healthy. Do not go to fast food. I was even just talking to one of my buddies who's in the army, and he goes, those MERs, meal replacements, or the army meals, come in a bag. He goes, we eat bread that's from like 2009. And he goes, we smell it. He goes, no, it's not sour. We're good. I was like, dude. And then he goes, no, you know what the worst part is? He tells me, he goes, when he was working out afterwards, the sweat would like burn his eyes. And he goes, "This is crazy." So the stuff, all the preservatives and everything, he notices it because he eats clean when he's not at the army. He eats like how I would eat. But when he goes to the army, they got these meal rations or whatever. And he goes, the preservatives are horrible. He goes, the fact that bread could last for like 15 years, he goes, that's crazy. So, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, I don't know. I probably went on like 40 different rants. Honestly, I just hope that everyone's having like a great day, a great life, had a great Valentine's Day. I hope everyone has a good weekend. I'm going to go upstairs and eat for 5 hours because I like to overeat, but it's all vegetables and fruit, so it's healthy. That being said, yeah, I haven't posted a video in 2 weeks or whatever it is. Project's done, close to the six pack. I send out a nice little message to the beautiful blonde friend. Honestly, I think the only thing that's waiting is I need to close that door with the twin flame. She doesn't know it yet. She's probably figured out that we're twin flames. I know she tried to add me a while ago, and I got triggered pretty bad. And had to calm myself down. That's the fun part is learning your triggers, learning how to handle them. Once you can figure that out, world is just it's a game. It's a video game. Show up, play the level, see what happens. If not, repeat. That's the game. Anyways, take losses before you become the boss. This is Divinity Virtue. My name is Dustin Taylor. Dustin Taylor. Everything happens on divine timing. Let's try to help everyone else to be the best they can be, grow and succeed. Let's just be thankful. Be thankful for everything the world gives you. 'Cause I'm going to tell you right now, the instant gratification, yeah, it's fun. Trust me. Right now, my patience and my discipline, it's unreal. It's only making me stronger, but it's because I know at the end, I'm coming out with something so beautiful that I would have never dreamt of it. So I guess that's the willpower of me going forward every day doing this is to show that I'll have a beautiful ending and hopefully leave a great legacy. So that being said, God bless, amen, and thank you very much. Have a great weekend.